don't have any TVs on. Let me turn these TVs on. There. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the shop. If you were with us last week, you saw Shane broke that transmission housing.
They broke the shift selector off the gear. Yeah, it's done.
Put back together and put back in. It's still jacked up because it needs a few other little things that we're going to get to. But today, I want to get this transmission out of this car and figure out what in the world is making that squeaking sound. Oh, I'm getting some squeaking, but I'm getting some start. Let's see what happens. Pretty sure it's that release bearing. We're going to find out today. Gonna have to take all this little stuff back off. It's a bummer because really I just put this in here and this is the third engine out, right? So I took the motor out that was broken that when I got it originally. Pulled that out, put the B16 in. That broke, we all know back in this episode. Pulled that out. Now we're on the ZC and it's got that squeal in the clutch. So we're pulling the transmission out. You know, some days are better than others. Just the ball joint at the top here. I should be able to pull that down and get that axle out. Hopefully, I remember putting this axle in. It was a little bit of a pain, so hopefully it comes out nice and smooth. It was really tight last time. Remember? Not as easy. We got that axle out without too much of a hassle. I mean, a little bit, but not too bad. Let's get the other axle out and we can get that transmission out. I'm gonna jump under there and pull that shift linkage off, and then the transmission will just have to be unbolted from the motor and everything unplugged, but at least the bottom stuff is done, because I hate working on the bottom, man. I hate laying down on my back here and doing the shift linkage, getting down here and doing these axles. It's like the worst thing. Every time there's somebody new in the garage, like a new person comes around, they wanna learn, this is what they learn first: axles and shift linkage. All the guys around me, man, ask them, they'll tell you they're a champ with axles and shift linkage. I got the shift linkage dropped, pulled out the little bitch pin using this little trick. You know, this is an air conditioner bolt. If you don't know how to use that, there's definitely a video somewhere on the internet. It shows you how to take out the bitch pin with an air conditioner bolt. All right, I'm gonna try to show you guys this, because a lot of people have a problem with it. It's actually called the bitch pin because it's such a bitch. But it has a little clip on top, and it's not that difficult to get off. Just pop it right off. But you just pop it right off. Let me find it. This right here. It's gonna come straight off. Obviously, it will bonk you in the face, so wear some eye protection. To get this bitch pin out, so many people have trouble with it, but this is just the bolt from the air conditioner. So I've taken the air conditioning out. This is the bolt from the AC. Don't use the one for your car. Maybe get another one or from a spare car or something. But this is the bolt from the AC, and bro, I'm trying to tell you, it fits right into that little hole. Then I just take a pretty good hammer. There it is. So this fits perfectly up into the hole, knocks the pin straight up and out, and you see it's just compressed to this little compression pin. It's a little awkward under here. That's how you get out this little pin, or at least that's how I get out this little pin. When you're hitting the top of the bolt right here with the hammer, I like to use the vice grips on it. This way it doesn't smash my hand while I smash it with a hammer. But if you don't know how to use this, just look it up. I'm sure there's a YouTube video on how to use the air conditioner bolt for your bitch pin. Slide the jack under and hold up the weight of the transmission as I unbolt it from the motor and eventually get to the mounts. But first I just want to get the weight off of the actual mounts and onto this jack. There we go. I just have it under there. It's not really lifting it. It's just sort of supporting it just so that it doesn't fall out while I take all these bolts out. I don't want the thing to crash or anything. I'm basically just gonna go around the transmission and take out all of these main holding bolts, these 17s that go all the way around right now. Grab those out of there. There's a couple that run down the back, and pull that starter out, and then the transmission should be pretty much coming out. And there's the starter out, and looking at this mess right here of just dust and rust, I'm guessing that inside that transmission housing, that release bearing that's in there on that clutch and flywheel is just gonna be just roached. Flywheel is pretty rusty just from sitting. This motor sat for quite some time before it got put in here. Like, you know, now we know it runs well, but just from sitting for a long time. There's no grease or anything that was on that release bearing, and if it was there, it's been gone a long time, and that's really where our problem lies on this one, man. So I think pulling this thing out and getting a new clutch in here is gonna solve the problem. I've been yanking and pulling on this transmission. I've got it separated here. I'm gonna let you guys take a look in there. Pretty much same as me. Let me find my flashlight here. And we can see that in there, oh yeah, it looks like that release bearing is gonna be toast. And like I said, that clutch has kind of got rust, just surface rust all over it. But man, it's been sitting a long time, and you can see where I tried to use it, and it looks like metal to metal was scrubbing on that release bearing in there. I haven't ordered a clutch yet though, because I don't know the spline count on this transmission. This is a ZC transmission. I've got to count the splines because they're different from 88 to 91, or I don't really remember, but somehow in the SI transmissions, there is a different spline count, so I need to count these splines to make sure I order the right clutch for this ZC. But we're just getting in there now and figuring out that, man, at least we know for sure that that is our problem. I mean, that thing looks pretty rough. It's quite the struggle, but it's on the floor now. I got the transmission pulled out of the car and it's on the floor over here, and we can take a good look at that release bearing, and you can really see that it is just in really bad shape here. Check it out. It looks like all of this right here, this real shiny metal, that's what was probably squeaking, because it's cleaned off while everything else is pretty damn dirty. I mean, the rest of this is just surface and kind of dirty and whatnot from sitting. Hell, the bearing even turns a little bit. The bearing doesn't even turn that bad really, but man, you can see that shiny metal around those edges right there, and that's just showing where it was rubbing metal to metal, and probably that's where our squeak was coming from. So I'm gonna pull this thing out, pull that clutch out, get a spline count on this thing, and then I'm just gonna have to order a clutch. stuck on here, man. Getting there. Last one. Clutch itself actually really doesn't look that bad, but you can see right here where that release bearing was rubbing on those fingers right there that are supposed to compress. Man, that's probably not going anywhere. This thing is just old and had it. And I mean, of course, this could all use resurface, but the actual clutch has lots of life left in it other than having all of this, you know, surface rust and just looking like an old piece of garbage. Other than that, it looks like it might have worked if it was lubed up at the time. So it's good to know that this thing was probably maintained and was probably in good running order when it was parked. And now it's gonna run again. We're just gonna have to resurface all of these parts, put it back together, and this thing will be on the road and can hopefully get out of here. I'm gonna jump back in there, pull that flywheel off, and then I'll count these splines and see which clutch we need to order. That's pretty much the whole setup pulled out and set over here on the counter. We could take a look at this flywheel. It looks like it had probably been just fine if this was just driving down the road and hadn't sat for so long, but with all that sitting, man, it just got all that rust. It's just built up, all that surface rust, and now that release bearing is totally what is not working. So we're gonna replace all that stuff, man. I'm really stoked to figure out that it's just the clutch. The transmission's good, everything else is good. So what I need to do, man, is count these splines. Let's take a look at this, man. So right down here, these are the splines we're gonna have to count, see how many that we have. It's different on the 88, but one of them is 20 splines or 21 splines, I think is the right answer. So I'm gonna count these splines and see how many splines are on this transmission, and then I can order a clutch and flywheel setup that will work with this transmission that's gonna work in the ZC in here. So we've got, we'll just mark one right here so we know. One, all right? That's our one. All right. 2, 3. So there's 20 splines on this. So with 20 splines, that means it is an 89 to 91 transmission. So I need to order a clutch for an 89 to 91. The 88 is the one that's different. I believe it has 21 splines, so it's a little bit different. But I'm ordering a clutch and flywheel kit, like I said. So just need to order the one that is 20 splines, and that'll work from 89 to 91 CRX SI transmissions. I'm 99% sure. You know, Google it before you buy something though. But now that we know the spline count is the same as 89 to 91 in this transmission, I'm gonna go ahead and order that clutch and get it coming. That means I'm gonna go on and wrap this one up since I don't have the clutch to put back in here. And when it comes in, we'll get back into working on this one once again. So we'll see you on the next one. But until we do,
Stay mad, bro.
like always, man, thanks for watching. So Chain, you talk Chain? You talk my man Chain? This is my buddy, his name is Chain. But
Stay mad, bro.
Let me just start all over.